I'm gonna do some more of those voice meme character thingies. And, Jillian asked for Erik, the opera ghost, so I changed into some more appropriate attire, also because I was cold. Uh, but, yes, Erik, the opera ghost. So obviously from Phantom of the Opera. I was introduced to Phantom of the Opera through the 2004 movie, which I went to see. Well, alright. My dad used to really like the original with, the original, Andrew Lloyd Webber show with, Michael Crawford, Sarah Brightman, the whole deal. And he would listen to the recording, and we had that, Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals music video thing with like a whole bunch of really old music videos of his stuff, and they were all from like the 80s, and they were really obnoxious and horrible, but they were fun to watch. And so that was my first experience, but I didn't like it, so I wasn't like, yeah, woo, I'm gonna find out about this. But when I turned 13 or 14, I can't remember which, in 2004. Yeah, don't ask me right now, I don't know. So I'm like, I could think about it and figure it out, but I'm not going to try. I went to see the movie with Gerard Butler, Emmy Rossum, the whole deal. Did I just say the same thing again? The whole deal. And I loved it, and I went to see it 6 times in the theater, and I was obsessed, and I decided I was going to become an opera singer / musical singer, and I loved it, and I tried to find out everything I could about it, and I eventually went to see the actual show on stage 3 times. I've seen it so far. Once in front row. Awesome. But after I discovered that it was based on a book, and okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. When I saw it on stage, I kind of realized that Gerard Butler is a terrible singer, and that the whole movie just doesn't capture the actual feeling of the show or the book or the anything, and it's really terrible. If you like it, that's fine, you can like it. I used to like it, and I'll always be indebted to it for introducing me to the actual material itself, but I hate it. It's terrible. And so I realized that, they didn't cast singers in the roles, and they were just beautiful people, which is like the complete opposite of the point of the show, or of the storyline itself. And I found out it was based on a book, so I read the book, and I read the Susan Kay novel. And for a while, when like 16, I was really obsessed with when I was 16, I was really obsessed with the Susan Kay version, and like role played as the Susan Kay Phantom, and desperately like tried to base everything on Susan Kay's stuff. And but nowadays I'd say that Leroux is the only version that I actually like consider canon, or like if I was going to discuss a character from Phantom of the Opera, I would use the Leroux version, because that's the kind that, like, the rest are all adaptations to me, but I appreciate them for that. I think I've kind of become something of a purist, which is really annoying to some people, but that's just me. Jude and I are purists. Fist bump. The character of Erik himself is always portrayed in either the light of the romantic, like, hero and the horror villain, and that's like, those are the 2 extremes of the character. And I feel like either way is kind of pushing it too far. Like, he's a mixture of, he's almost a human, his character is just human. There's flaws, and there's strengths, and he's got certainly he manipulates Christine, and he's but he doesn't understand how to make someone love him with the face that he has. And so, like, it doesn't excuse his actions, but explains them. And certainly he's the villain of the story, but that doesn't mean that he's a villainous person, per se, necessarily. Not to excuse him, because obviously he does horrible things. He kills people. He threatens to blow up the entire opera house. He just, he's bad, but he's bad for reasons of, abuse and past, people treating him badly, and kind of destiny kind of, you could say handed him a kind of bad hand there with the face. It's kind of hard for people to love you if you don't have a nose. Especially in that day and age. Though, if you consider people dying of like syphilis and stuff, their noses would sometimes fall off because of the wasting disease. But regardless, and I do, I ship Erik and Christine more than I ship Christine and Raoul, but I realize the problems in their relationship, and it's better for Christine to be with someone who's not a complete wacko. Not that Raoul's perfect, because he's got problems, but he's not a mass murderer, crazy guy who's going to kill people if she doesn't treat him perfectly. He's kind of in love with the ideal. Erik is kind of in love with the ideal of Christine. You could say Raoul is too, but a different sort of ideal. But Erik loves the idea that this beautiful, great singer that he's trained will be able to see past the face that no one else has been able to see past, which is admirable and really depressing. The thing about Erik is that he's so eloquent and learned. He took this like failure of not being able to be part of society and decided to like bury himself in pursuits of his genius, like intelligence. Not just singing and instruments and stuff. He's also an architect, designer, composer. He's, read the classics. He talks about different, like Greek classics and stuff at different times. And he's really well learned and obviously taught himself a lot of things. And, that's probably what I would do if I was stuck in a basement because my face looked like puke. And I find that really admirable. And it's the idea, I think the thing that sticks with me is the idea that Erik let Christine and Raoul and the Persian go and learned from his mistakes. Despite the fact that he was so far gone that he was insane and he was ready to completely destroy the entire opera house and everything. Despite all of that, he didn't remain this like evil villain who had to be destroyed by the hero. Christine expressed physical affection and emotional affection towards him, whether or not she truly like loved him like a lover or like a like romantic love, or whether it was pity or what. She expressed toward him trust and love, and from that he grew. And I find that really, really amazing as far as the narrative and as far as his character expanding from, what could have been a mustache twirling young woman kidnapping evil villain and became this tragic gothic icon of doomed romance. And I find that really amazing. Oh gosh, it's almost 9 minutes long. I think we're done here.